Good evening, everybody, and welcome to day 9 of the BPL. This is our second game of the evening, and we have Win versus Legion. It's the same maps as we had before, so we will be seeing Oasis Palms first, followed by Vineyards, followed by Black Goldville, and if we haven't seen the winners by then, we will have a match point or on Canal as our tiebreaker. Joining me commentating tonight, I have Favor with me. Hello, Favor.
Hello, Satan.
He is from Elements and he just recently played in the last game, which was Elements versus Mates, and you won, didn't you?
Yeah, we won and it was kind of fun. We we did well tonight, so yeah, it wasn't a bad game.
Yeah, it was quite good. I thought you guys and Whoopsie who was commentating with me both thought you played excellently. Hopefully, we'll be seeing the same sort of quality from this Legion versus Win match. Um,
This match gonna be really interesting.
It will. And if I just quickly check the league points for this, I believe Legion is still on 10 points and Win on 8. So the winner of this match, if Win win, then they'll put themselves onto 11 points, which is joint first with Live. And if Legion win, then that'll put them into first place on 13 points. So it'd be very interesting to see who wins this. And I believe we're ready for our
Okay,
first game. So why don't you drive us in?
let's go for a game. So we can see double UZ from 113 from both sides. Then we have one STB on each side as well. 3 IS4 for Legion, 2 IS4s for Win, and 1E5. What do, and obviously 268. What do you think about these sets?
Well, if we see the very heavy lineup here from Legion having 5 heavy tanks, and they're going to be pushing straight into the town through towards the B and the A caps, and we can see that the STBs are currently duking it out. That is Papa Stan and iGabe duking it out over the C base. So looks like Gangdorf has already taken one round in his 1-1-3. And the two IS4s are in this great hold down position that we saw used in the previous game with LM versus Mates. Really strong position here for the IS4s. Anything you can see going on particularly, Favor?
Actually, this match will be a lot about how these two teams can work around C with their STBs, and also the actually this match gonna be a lot about trading because we have almost two exactly same setups. So
They are. It's going to be very much down to how well each team can trade out with the other. And we can see here
exactly.
the STBs are having, well, neither of them have made any shots into the other one, and the first few shots, other than Gangdorf, have gone into Pascas in his IS4. It's difficult for him to win a trade against two IS4s, especially with the caliber of the players here.
Engie is pushing for C.
Engie. So if NG comes out and supports Sten, then we could potentially see a an overmatch. Camper from North is supporting the STB, however, if
Oh,
NG
actually,
can rush in, then
NG is doing a really good job when he's pushing like the corner, because it's getting the side fire, and on the other side, camper from north is pushing towards A. So maybe we will see some kind of rush in the city.
I think it's yeah. I think what we're gonna see is maybe a push through the buildings of B or through
Actually,
round towards A. But
push through the buildings is bad. It's bad.
it is. You
It's
get
better
shot
to
from all
push.
over the place. It's
It's
super good.
better to push through A.
Absolutely. But they seem the WZ113s are both formed up there with the Object 268. They're just sitting in those bushes together like a happy little couple. Look at that. Waiting to see if they can see Sten,
Jesus.
but he is not giving them anything. So we're down to 4 minutes on the clock, and still both teams maintaining very good hit points. Legion is winning the trade slightly, however, it's nothing particularly significant. Only 1k hit points at this point.
NG is going back though.
It looks like Legion, if NG's pushing back, Legion could potentially be, well, looking for a push on A, or
But
at least trying to not necessarily push, but just overmatch one certain vehicle.
But just to say, like at the moment, the Legion guys have the advantage of hit points. So it's a huge advantage because if like at the moment they don't need to push because they will win on points, but on hit points, I mean. But
Can you
if
win via
they
hit points if you have higher hit points?
actually, I think that it's like more damage you deal, you win. If you like the team that deals more damage, that wins. If the points are the same.
Okay,
It
so
the
that's interesting. If Legion's currently winning on hit points, then Win are the ones that are going to have to make the move eventually. And if they have less hit
actually
points, then sorry, go on.
I think that the system should be the same like it's in quick tourneys and tourneys like this. And it already happened to us that we won by hit points. We won by hit points dealt.
It seems as if
Like
Sten he's again rotating round, and we just want to see something from either of these teams. I'm seeing Thomas move up
well,
here a little bit, but it's nothing particularly significant. Only one certain tank moving.
it's gonna be interesting.
It is, it's still very static. So, well, apart from Win is moving these 1-1-3s around finally, so maybe we will see their push through A. However, Legion has
Like
got such a good setup here. 3 hold down IS4s, and yes, it looks like Win is going to be pushing through A.
yeah, but it's actually a bad decision to push because if you push like this, you will
Big
lose
shots there.
the
Good
hit
one from
point.
NG. And now Jimpa's going to be peeking over the top. One shot there into him from Binny. Unfortunately, one of them bounced. And now Vice is taking a 1v1 with Jaska, but he's already got the hit point advantage on him. And look at these IS4s use this rock to their advantage, side scraping off of it. These IS4s are now outflanked. However, they've got the fire support. Binny there taking massive damage. 1.1k. NG unfortunately missing a
First
shot.
Jaska is almost one shot. Bene one shot as well.
And it looks as
Jaska is
if
going down.
the STB is being rushed by Thomas as well, out on the flank. And Pascas is now getting shots into the sides of Gangdolf and Oxbow. Binny is the only Legion tank to be down so far, but Captain North is the second one to go down, and the the second one for Legion as well as Oxbow. Gangdolf in his 1-1-3 is now getting 3-on-1.
The hit points are massively an advantage of Legion.
Yeah.
This should be an easy win.
The guns are still well, they're even now, and if Sten is able to penetrate, great shot there from Sten, taking down another Win IS4, and now it's only the WZ114 and the IS4 remaining. Really great hold there from Legion.
Actually, the problem was that Vayne lost a lot of hit points while they were trading, and if you lose a lot of hit points and then you rush, that rush will not be that effective.
Absolutely.
So
sorry, if you go on.
They were in disadvantage before the rush, so the rush wasn't like for me. It wasn't the best decision. Probably no. If they would push probably on C somehow get the cap points, it could go other way. I don't know. Like that's my opinion. So yeah.
Not elements even. Win's push there was good and altogether. Their focus fire wasn't quite right though. And also because Legion's focus fire was on point, therefore that they just suffered. We saw immediately tanks taking massive amounts of damage and going down almost instantly. Whereas Legion's, those IS4s, Binny was the first one to go down, and he managed to hold on for a long time, considering he was being pushed by, I think they were 4 tanks versus 2, so was a good job there by them.
Yep.
And I believe we are almost ready for our second game. What do you expect Win to try and do differently this time in order to win it?
Mm, Actually, they could easily win just by doing exactly the same, but
But
uh,
mhm.
but doing that more effectively. Like don't lose that much HPs in trades, or probably do what I already said, like push C before Legion does. So
But Legion
before
had
Legion
brought
do.
the 113 of the 113 from Thomas over to the other side. So obviously Legion were planning on pushing C themselves with Stennin's STB and Thomas. However,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
but actually, Wayne could expect they could counter push that. So then get the tanks away from the city, get the C cap faster than uh, Legion will get A cap and kill Thomas, and then they would win.
they would have. Well, yeah, exactly. If they could have held with a few of their IS4s in those hold down positions and those 113. Well, for example, if they moved their two 113s and pushed out with that STB, they could have capped C and had an overlap on Thomas and Sten his STB, and they would have likely still been able to hold for quite a long time. So it was quite an unfortunate timing there, I suppose, because Win decided to push it kind of the wrong way. They pushed the wrong way. Alright, I think we're ready to head into our second round on Oasis Palms.
Yeah, the spawns are changed, so let's go.
Wow, look at that. 4 IS4s here from Legion, an STB, and those two 113s. I like Legion's very uniform lineups at the moment. They're getting lots of the same tank, so it means that the IS4 can be used for the pushes. They are really strong vehicle.
Actually, I don't like just one thing.
No,
I
not
think,
just one the same, but never just one of the
uh,
same, but
yeah, but I don't like the fact that Legion is missing a team
missing a what, sorry?
because that like I I would go better. I would better go for one. Let's say Grille. Grille from this spawn is really good, and just it has a really good power, and yeah.
It's interesting how Legion have set themselves up this time. Very similar with those IS4s and those hold down positions again. However, they've now got the 113 protecting the STB rather than a 268. So that was one of the obviously they swapped out an IS4 in an IS4 for the 268. But that 113 is much better at being able to support Sten if he decided to push up. So if they decided to push C again, then they wouldn't have to basically sacrifice or lose the effectiveness of what would be in the 268.
Yeah, that's actually you are right. You are right.
And yeah, and you see the 268 from Camp from North is now trying to flank round the side of Sten, but he's got pretty average, poor gun depression, and if he's caught out in the open, he could be tracked coming over the top of a dune. So that's why maybe having something like the 113 is better in this situation. Again, it's just a trading match on this map, so we're seeing very little
Stand
hit
got
points being lost on both teams, but Legion is taking a shot across the board, apart from the two 113s, and then the IS4s from Win have been able. Wow,
oh,
big shot there
huge
into light
hits
game.
on STV.
And Sten's now getting rushed. Is he going to be able to make it out of that? He takes multiple shots in from the sport tanks, and he's going to go down there to Camp from North. However, not before Camp from North takes massive amounts of damage himself. And Gangolf's going to be able to get in another shot. He's going to finish off the 268. So now Sten's traded his life for the half health of an STB and also a 268.
But actually Gandalf is lower as well. But this was actually what you said. Like in pushing, Object has the problems of open field, getting tracked in the open field, etc. So
And if we look at A quickly, Oxbow's now down to a one-shot, 170 health, and they've managed to cap A though, Legion. He's going to get pushed here. He's going to take a lot of damage, and he
but
goes down. So now, not only is there 2 tanks down on Wins, there's also 2 tanks down on Legion. And they managed to push down, and Ultra Instinct's now completely surrounded. Binny taking a cover behind a Dune nearby, but he's going to get pushed by 4 tanks as the E5 goes down to Gangolf in his 113. Now Thomas is facing off with the IS-4 from Win here, Pascas. And Binny, is he going to be able to hold his own? Another tank goes down. Ultra Instinct in his IS-4. Binny now against an IS-4 and a 113. Gandalf's going to come up from behind. He bounces a shot off the back of that 113. But Thomas is coming over the top. And he's now going to be able to help out Binny. Health points
this
very
this
even,
game is really
however.
close.
It looks like Legion is going to be able to take a gun advantage at this point against the Win. And this 1.2k health point IS-4 is now going to take multiple shots from the better DPM 113s.
Actually, maybe what cost the win this game was that one bounce on that Ultra Instinct, that was one shot. That would probably change the game. And also, if you saw what STB, that STB went on one shot while he was rushed by the IS-4, and suddenly he rammed him. Why?
It was the STB could have survived significantly longer if he'd have just taken cover behind the dunes and used his gun depression to his advantage. Rather, he basically just gave himself up for free.
And if he would have survived for a longer time, he could help to his team on the other side.
If we look at the damage quickly,
Because
Gangolf in his 113 puts out significant damage. He was the one that replaced the 268, Gangolf.
Yeah.
So, I believe they want Xville in. So, we're waiting... Sorry, not waiting. We're waiting for the next map, which is Vineyards. We've seen this already this evening, and it was where Elements dominated over Mates, bringing up 2 victories against them. So we'll be seeing Legion gain the 2 points they need to win this series, or will Win get their 2 points, or just the 1 in Vineyards. Very interesting map, as we described earlier. Lots of different things you can do on it. And I imagine we'll be seeing some French tanks, yes, so we'll be seeing some 50Bs and a bat chat from Sten, it seems like. So, very normal for clippers to be used on this map, because you can catch tanks out quite often.
I expect bat chats, or at least one bat chat on each team, because you need the bat chats to cap a base. It depends which base it's gonna be, as you could already see. But also the problem is that from the south spawn, the B cap can be capped faster than from north the A cap.
Yeah. And that's, I suppose, an imbalance in the map design. However, it means that often we see teams choosing to go for the C base instead into the town from the south side, or instead going for a more aggressive move to reset the other team's base of A, I think it is. And we'll see what they do in our first round on Vineyards.
No, actually, Saiton, that's the base. That's the base B, and
the base B is
can
south, right? Or is base B north?
Base B is south.
Yeah, that's what I said, I think.
Yeah, okay, sorry.
The northern one is A, yeah. Right, let's ready up and go in.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Look at that. 2 bat chats, 2 50Bs from Win. Very aggressive French lineup
What?
there. Let's see what they
What?
do with it. I'm very curious. I think these 50Bs might be going for the underneath the bridge. I've seen that done a few times before,
No, man, they are going. They will rush C. They are rushing C.
and they are in fact going to be rushing C.
But the problem now will be that, look, Win will cap A, and they will cap C, but they have no tanks to cover A. Like there is no one, and that's the problem, because
Oh, look here.
A.
Legion's now pushing in with 2 IS-7s and IS-4 and the 113s across the bridge, and they're going to be taking up a very aggressive position.
Yes, and as I said, this is the problem. Now A cap will be retaken, and Legion will have 2 caps.
Unless, of course, Win are very aggressively going to push out. And it looks like they are going to do that. Papa Sten needs to move out the way, otherwise he's going to get rushed and take a lot of damage here from the 50Bs in the back. Luckily manages to juke out one shot. Is he going to take another? No, he doesn't. He manages to avoid it narrowly. Now, Win's put themselves in such a bad position. Those 50Bs are taking an absolute hemorrhaging. Down to 1.3k and 1.5k HP respectively. Thomas, another great shot into the 50Bs. And now we see Legion owning the positions and also owning the bases. This is a really dangerous situation for Win to be in.
Actually, this is the mistake from Win, because I don't actually know what they should do at the moment, because they are losing everything.
They're not winning an engagement yet, you're right.
Like if you will watch the map, they lost the control of the map. They lost the bases, and they are losing hit points.
Legion's positioning is excellent right now. They've got an IS-7 protecting their own spawn, and they've got 2 113s protecting the other spawn with a bat chat spotting there as well, and they've got an IS-4s and an IS-7 holding down the middle. This is really great positioning here from Legion. And the 113s are now deciding to duke it out, but there's only one 113 in the direct position fighting Thomas and Gandalf. There's one in buff, but he's going to be getting shot from Binny, and who is behind?
The problem is that A cap is easy to retake, like recap, but actually the B cap is almost impossible to cap back.
But the 50Bs both taking massive damage as they peak. They're both so low here, and Legion's almost up to 900 points now. They need very little to win this game. Vice has got Camper from North in a trap with Binny, and he finishes him off. Vice here now turning around to go off after iGabe in the other bat chat for win, and it's all over. Legion successfully managed to take the 1,000 points that they required to win.
Actually, I liked the strat from Win, but the problem was that if you take 2 bad chats, like it would be good to send one like A and another C, as we saw. But the problem is that you have to somehow hold the A cap, because the A cap is made with that house as it's an easy recap, because the house is covering almost all of the cap, and if you go there with IS-4 or IS-7, you will get the cap. So
it's unfortunate that as you said, Win were aiming to meet Legion or have that fast flank round to flank Legion, but it just didn't work because Legion had already moved and taken the A base long in advance of when Win got to their flank.
yeah.
It was a good idea though. Just Legion had effective timing to counter it. Right, I believe we're just waiting for Thomas and Binny to ready up, and then have we swapped spawns?
Yeah, I swap spawn.
And then we'll be heading in from a different side, and it looks like Win are going to be using the same tactic again, or at least the same lineup. We'll see what they do differently if they do it.
Actually, from the other spawn, it can work. It can work much better
Hmm
because B is hard to cap from from Legion side because Legion will get A, but then if Win will manage to get B and C, they could easily win.
mm. And I believe we're
Okay, so
already
let's see.
readied up now, so we're heading into our match point on Vineyards. Again, it's very similar lineup. 50 Bs, 2 bat chats for Win, and then for Legion we have 113s. Sorry, the pair of 113s again, 268 I7, 2 IS4s, and a bat chat. That bat chat is key. We see very often teams using this as such an excellent scout tank. It's
But
got the speed and
actually,
the mobility.
Win is doing something different.
Look at this. So Win now are going to get the B base before Legion can get A. And Cab from North's pushing right up. Is he going to reset Sten on A? He is. He does.
Oh
He manages to
yeah,
reset him.
nice, really well played, guys. Really well played by Win. But can they get C as well? Not really, because there is Benny and double 113.
He's going to try and cap A again, and Exfil isn't in a position to stop Camper from North getting it. Is Sten going to be able to recap it? Camper from North, he gets another cheeky shot into Sten. Great work there by him. He's got one more shot and he takes one in return, but he's dealt half health to Sten, and he's now got to go for a full reload. But Sten takes another shot from the side. Jaska, great work there, putting one into his flank. Legion are going for the C base, but because they weren't able to capture A at all, then this means that they're having to pull back. That was a really strong tactic there from Win, being able to push Legion off their own cap. That's where we see the duo bat chats working really, really well. You know what would have worked better for them is if they'd have pushed up 2 bat chats to that position, and they would have been able to fully clip out Sten. However, now we see Legion taking up positions in and around the town at base C, and they're going to have to do the work here in order to win back this battle.
But actually, the problem of Legion now is that bad chat. It's Stan. Stan is one shot, and bad chat that is one shot is a really tough problem because you can't really push and you can't really play aggressively. And that's exactly what Legion needs at the moment.
At least they've got all of their heavy tank hit points still. And Thomas is finally going in for that cap on A. And if he does manage to cap this base, then Camp from North sees that as a heavy tank and realizes he's not going to be able to penetrate him. And that means that Legion will have the 2 bases that they need. Despite the fact that Win have got a higher point advantage currently, I believe Legion will have time to overtake them.
Actually, I think that Win will now try, and they are doing that, they will try to push C.
Yeah, we see the IS4 of Tovi and also the bat chat of Igo.
The 50Bs and bat chats are rotating towards C, and
are they going to get spotted? Is Ultra Instinct going to? Oh, no, they're taking the back route. That's very good work there by them.
They will not get spotted.
And they're pushing.
And the only one who is spotted is IS4, and Benny got baited. And this will be a problem.
Are they going to be able to reset this base though? They get one reset onto the IS4, and they might be able to keep on resetting this base in for eternity, basically. Good shot there by Gandalf, and is Benny going to be able to take another shot in?
Vin is waiting too much.
Yeah, there we go. So they're not going to be able to reset this. But look at the scores. This means that Legion won't be able to overtake on points unless they get a kill. And Tovio takes another shot. Legion there taking up positions along the rail. Good shot there from our Ultra Instinct. And he goes down. That means Legion now is in the points, in the lead with their points. Thomas pushes in.
Actually,
This 50B is clipping out, but he's not got any shells left now.
this 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 could have been played better because
The counter
the
push from Legion
mistake.
though, it's all over for Win. There's nothing they can do. Those 50Bs are clipped out, and they've got their back chat can't do anything against all of these high DPM heavy tanks,
Yeah, exactly.
and that's their
You
1000.
the main problem was that Vayne did really nice rotation. That rotation was awesome, but the problem was that they got they stopped like they stopped in the cap, and if they rushed the Legion guys, if they rushed Binny,
Hmm.
they could have win that.
They could have what? Sorry.
They could win the game.
They could have done. And their problem was they lost momentum. They just stopped at the base C where they should have kept on going and destroyed the tanks from Legion before their reinforcements arrived. So that was the really major problem there for Win. Very unfortunate of them to lose 4-0 there. However, that is a great game by Legion. They played spectacularly well. They executed their tactics very well, and they had strong tactics in the first place. I believe that puts them up to 13 points in the league, which means that they are now first. And if we look at um, where this places Win now are on 9 points, so they're still in a respectable third or sorry fourth place, which would put themselves inside the bracket to continue to the semis. However, I believe that's just it for us now, and I enjoyed those games. I think that Legion, as I said, just pulled off really good tactics, and whenever Win tried to do something, they managed to counter it. Do you agree, Favor?
Yeah, I have to agree because hmm,
It was, yeah.
actually the tactics from both teams were really good, but but in some cases that was the decisions and the mistakes that Wayne have done, and that cost them the game.
Mm, absolutely. And I think that's it for us now. I hope you've enjoyed the games tonight. Uh,
Yep.
Unfortunately, we had a few problems like the stream overlay. I'll try and get those sorted out for next stream. However, anyways, thanks for coming, and see you later. Bye bye.